There's always been this one aspect of Sonic.EXE that fascinates me. Why does he not use the Chaos Emeralds? In the original version of the story, and the arguably better version, and a lot of the fan works based around the character, we never get to see these be used. It's definitely not a requirement. I just wonder to myself, why? I don't need to explain how the Chaos Emeralds work. If you didn't know though, Sonic Frontiers establishes that the Emeralds are from a completely different world. That doesn't matter. Why do we never get to see Sonic.EXE use them? If he ever got his hands on them, what could he do with them? I've seen a few ideas thrown around on why we don't get to see X use the emeralds, and one of them is really interesting to me. When you try to look back at the original story, there's nothing there to help you put the pieces together. However, with the superior version of the story, there's an explanation there. To be noted, EXE tried to create some sort of environment, so kinda like a game developer. And when I think about it, what if he just doesn't have access to them? Think about it. X has no idea of what the emeralds are, what their power consists of, or where they're even from. And you, the viewer, might be saying, well, they're from the Sonic series, how would he not know? Here's what I think about this. Analyze the environments of Sonic.EXE with me. We have Green Hill Zone, Angel Island, an area that is somewhat familiar to Scrap Range Zone, and this place we've never seen in the Sonic series before. The remake doesn't change all that much. What I'm trying to say here is that the environments do not match up with the characters. Why do we not get to see Tails start off in Emerald Hill? Why do we not get to see Knuckles in the Hidden Palace or Mushroom Hill? Eggman is pretty debatable. If he's not familiar with those places, why would he be familiar with the Chaos Emeralds? In fact, why would he need them? EXE killed Sonic's friends with no effort at all, even his enemies too. He doesn't really need the Chaos Emeralds, he's already good enough without them. It would give him a lot more power than he already has though. The last explanation on why Sonic.EXE doesn't use the Chaos Emeralds, and arguably one of my favorites, he would die. Coming into contact with those emeralds would straight up kill him instantly. I find this to be a really interesting idea, and I don't understand why more people don't try to do this with their storytelling. The fact that this entity from the void could be killed by magic rocks fascinates me. EXE claims to be a god. Sonic has gone up against enemies that are like gods, and if that's worked in the past for Sonic, it's definitely gonna work once again. These are the impending doom to EXE. Once he's confronted with the emeralds, he's dead. Those are all the reasons on why we don't get to see Sonic.EXE use the Chaos Emeralds. I do hope one day some random fan game developer does something with this, or better yet, somebody writes an entire story about this idea. It's just really fascinating to me. The emeralds hold so much power, and yet this thing from the void doesn't use them, because they don't know about the emeralds, because they don't need to use the emeralds, or they could be killed by them. All of these have their own explanations behind them. Let me know what you think of this. Why do you think Sonic.EXE doesn't use the Chaos Emeralds? Let me know, and I'll see you guys next time, and bye.